Good morning.
Morning.
Wow, you're kind of like a king here.
Yeah.
Benji woke up this morning all sore with his knee, so I said just lay down and I'll whip you up a little breakfast. You should have seen last night. Okay, well, enjoy your breakfast. We're heading out to Family Friends Prayer. Thank you so much for all of the prayers going out to my family. So far, things aren't looking too good, but just keep praying. And yeah, so yeah, we're heading out to the prayer, and I guess I'll film there. I don't know. I feel weird filming, especially when it's
Family stuff.
like family stuff or family. I don't know. Okay, so I'll catch you guys later. Hi guys. So I figured since this vlog is kind of non-existent, like we didn't vlog at all today, it just, the mood wasn't there at all, and I don't know if you'd want to see a Debbie Downer Judy. So, yeah, basically Benji's just resting. You had a very restful Sunday.
I sprained my knee at the tournament.
Yeah, so
I didn't even know till I got home.
So you basically just iced it, watched a bunch of movies, and yeah, so anyways, I thought it would be nice to catch up on some... What are you looking at?
I was looking at John.
Why?
Because just looking at it.
Why? You're making me all conscious.
No, you get some white spots right here.
Why am I getting white spots? Like dry spots?
I don't know, you got some white spots.
Anywho, a lot of people were asking about the pregnancy, like how did we find out? So we're going to talk about how we found out and how we told our parents, because that seemed to be the topic that a lot of people are interested in knowing. So, how I found out. It was actually months ago while I was in California, and I flew down there by myself because I was there for family and I wanted to just visit, you know, the very last minute thing. So I flew down to California, and I was probably late with my period, like just a few days, and something told me, like, Judy, get a pregnancy test. So, like, by myself, I went to Walmart, I picked up a pregnancy test, and it was the ones that had, like, you know, the lines. So I took one, there was like 2 tests in there. And at my cousin's dad's house, I just peed on a stick. Like, I was really nervous, and then it was very faint. The pregnant, 2 lines meant pregnant, and it was very, very faint. So I was like, oh my God. So I told my cousin, like, an hour after I found out, and she's like, I feel so bad. You gotta tell Benji. I feel so bad that Benji's not here with you. So later that night, I call up Benji and I'm like, hey babe, how's it going? Whatever. And then as I'm talking to him on the phone, I text him a photo. But he didn't say anything. So I'm like, oh my God. I think 20 minutes after we were talking, I'm like, hey babe, check your message. He's like, oh yeah, I got a message, but I didn't check it. What did you think when I sent him a photo of the pregnancy test? What was your thoughts?
I didn't know what to think because I didn't think you'd be pregnant.
Really? Did you know what it was?
Yeah, I know what that is.
So he didn't think that we were pregnant. And he goes, what is this? He asked me, what is this? And I said, it's a pregnancy test. And he goes, oh, well, what does it say? And I said, we're pregnant. And then he was kind of quiet. I don't remember what you said after that.
I said, really?
Yeah, and I said, yeah, but I don't want to take a second test until I'm with you. And then later on, he kind of got upset, like, I can't believe you took it without me. And I don't know. It's not like I knew for a fact I was pregnant. If you're curious, wouldn't you take a test anyway? So, I think 2 days later, I flew back home, and Benji and it was like a late flight. I got home at like 11. It It was a late flight. We went to honey, stop that. Went to Albertsons and bought a pregnancy test. And we got one that was very clear that said pregnant or not pregnant. Benji's like, make sure you get one that is very clear. So why don't you talk about the pregnancy test?
And then we came home and she went in the bathroom and I was waiting out in the bed. And she came out and it was positive.
No. Gosh, you missed out a lot there.
Okay.
I peed on the stick and I put it in the sink. I was like, baby, come on, let's go watch it. Let's go watch it. Right?
I thought it was in the bed for some reason.
No, you're such a weirdo. It was even in the outside bathroom. It was in the outside bathroom. So like, babe, come on, let's look. And so it says waiting or something. And then it stopped and it said pregnant. And we're like, like really, really excited. And I think you're like, oh, I'm going to be a daddy or something. It was
unexpected
surreal.
Too. I was kind of shocked.
Yeah.
Because I was not expecting to be a dad this quickly.
And it's not like we were trying, but at the same time we weren't preventing, you know? So we just let God do the work. And, well, obviously we did the work, but, you know. And, okay.
I did all the work, actually.
What the heck?
You just lay there.
Don't say that. I'm pretty sure I wasn't just laying there when we...
Well, you were looking sexy laying there, but, you know.
I'm pretty sure I wasn't just
laying. I do most of the physical.
Do you even know when it happened?
I don't know. It's a toss-up between Japan and the Philippines. So.
Yeah, because it happened towards either the end of Japan, the end of Philippines, or the very beginning of Japan. But I'm pretty sure it happened at the very end of Philippines.
In my Japanese cousin's bed.
Don't say that! That's horrible! No.
That's a lucky bed.
Honey, no, we were in the hotel room. Remember that night?
No, because if it happened in Japan, it was inside my cousin's bed.
Well, yeah, and then if it
not
happened...
just my cousin, cousins. Remember, they gave us both of their beds and put them together.
But remember, if it was in Philippines, we were at the hotel right before we left. That was a nice hotel. It was a nice hotel.
It was a baby-making hotel.
Okay, now let's talk about how we told our parents. It was a toss-up whether I was going to tell my parents, like, until we were 3 months, or, because we were early. We were 6 weeks in when we found out, and I didn't want it to be like, hey, surprise, and then if, God forbid, anything happened, like,
Nature's Knockout was the one that told us to tell.
Yeah.
Actually, it was Lori from Nature's Knockout that told me to tell you to tell everybody that was our family. Thanks, Lori.
Oh, nice flex, honey. I saw you flex. I knew that was on purpose. So, Lori's suggestion was for us to tell because if anything bad did happen, we would get family support. So I was like, okay, that's great advice. So we told so we told my parents at a Chinese restaurant. I asked my parents if they wanted to go out for lunch, and then, of course, to no surprise, my dad picked Chinese. It's his favorite food. And so we sat down. Benji and my mom were talking about real estate because my mom's talking about moving to Philippines. And I said to Mom, I just blurted it out. I'm like, but Mom, you can't move to Philippines because we're pregnant. And then she looks at me. She's like, oh, shut up. Whatever. I'm like, and then I start like crying, like tearing, and then she could tell I was for real. And then Mom goes, oh, I bet I'm the last to know. Oh, God. Of course my mom would say that. She's such a silly bear. Anyway, so then...
Negative Nancy.
So then they go back to talking about real estate. I think because... You know, like, they're just in shock. And then Mom said, congratulations. And then sure enough, she told, like, half of our family and all our friends the next day. Well, probably not all our friends, because we still want to keep it on the DL. Tell them how we told your parents.
Well, we went inside my mom and dad's house, and we visited them at night, like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. I sat at the dining room table with my dad, and Judy sat with me, and my mom was doing something in the kitchen, and I said, Mom, Dad, I have something to tell you. And my mom knew right away. She goes, what? No, don't tell me. Don't tell me. But she said it in Japanese. And my mom already knew without me telling her because she's just that in touch. And my dad had no clue. He's like, what? He was like, he's very like me. He's like, what?
His dad was just eating dinner at the table, and mom was like in the kitchen, like cleaning whatever.
And then I told my dad. I said, "You guys, you're gonna be a grandpa." That's what I said, and we're gonna have a baby. And then my mom right away goes to telling Judy exactly what to do as a pregnant lady, like she always does. Giving her orders on how to.
She wasn't giving orders.
Yeah, she was. It didn't sound like.
Oh, was it?
Orders. And then my mom, and then she told me I need to take care of Judy, and my dad's like, "Whoa, wow, well, congratulations," and that was it. It was pretty chill with my parents.
And then mom.
No crying.
Mom was so cute.
Did you cry when I was telling my mom and dad?
I think I was tearing up because at that time I was really emotional because it was still new to me.
We told my parents first, too.
That night before we told my mom.
Yeah. So that's why it was the first time you're, like, telling somebody, right?
Yeah. So, but I remember Mom, when we were leaving his parents' house, she's like, okay, well, be careful of the stairs, be careful. And she tells me that every time I see her. She's like, be careful when you're walking down the stairs, because we have stairs at our place. So that's how we told.
How I told my brother is funny, though.
Oh, how did you tell your brother?
We're both working on the computer right next to each other, like we all do many times. And I didn't even look over at Joel, and I said, I'm going to be a dad. He's like, really? I'd say, yeah. Judy took the pregnancy test. He's like, oh, wow, congratulations. And then we went back to working.
Well, that was more eventful than how I told my sister. I just texted her. I said, hey, you're going to be an auntie. And she called me right away. And then we talked for like half an hour. So that's it. I know I've actually been contemplating about doing pregnancy vlogs. I got to look into what the questions are into that. So we'll see. Right now we are 14 weeks and a few days in. Pretty exciting. And oh, look, my zit is still here, but it's kind of
we
going
had matching
away.
zits, I think. Look.
You had one, yeah, down there, and then mine's up here. You should just, this is totally the zit side of our face. Alright, guys. Well, that's our story. We're sticking to it. And I can't believe you didn't know where you were when you found out that we were pregnant. Like,
oh, what probably happened was I was so scarred that you didn't wait for me the first time. I made up this imaginary scenario where you told me. I really did, because I really thought I was sitting in our bedroom.
No, I know what
and you were in the bathroom.
No, I know what it is.
But
when I told you, you were probably laying down in the bedroom.
No,
when
actually,
I told you over
I
the
remember
phone.
that. I was right there on the bench at the dining room table.
No.
I remember that.
All right.
So that was really the first time. So when you took the second test, it wasn't as special. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I'm sorry. I just something in my body was like, it's not like I knew.
I'm not trying to attack you or anything. I'm just telling you how it was and why I don't remember the second time as much, because the first time I really found out is when you told me on the phone.
Man, can you talk without moving? Like, I feel like this video is so shaky.
I don't see it shaking.
Because I'm so pissed out right now. Okay. You guys have a good night. Thanks so much for... Oh, yeah! God! So annoying. I swear, ever since I was pregnant, I'm like extra like aggressive and moody, and it's like,
oh, you don't even know.
Don't mess with me. Okay.
She attacks me for doing nothing at all.
Okay, guys. Good night. This is good night. Finally. Hope this wasn't boring. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.